So now we've got from 0 to 2 pi, from 0 to pi, we've got the sine function that looks like this, and we're supposed to estimate the area using 10 rectangles. So the first thing to do is take this interval from 0 to pi and divide it into 10 pieces, etc., etc. And then, what's the width of each one? That's called delta x. So first of all, find the length of the interval, so subtract the two numbers, big minus small, and divide that into 10 pieces. Well, let's see, that leaves pi divided by 10. You could use decimals, but just as well to use the exact number. And then add up 10 rectangles. So what I like to do is exaggerate or blow up the interval, and I need to know where do I start and where do I stop. So this first one would go from 0 to pi over 10, etc., etc. And then this one, since we're going in tenths, would be 9 pi over 10. And then the rectangles would have a width of pi over 10, and then you go up and make a rectangle. Because of the shape of this thing, I'm going to use the midpoint as the height, like this. So the next thing I need to know is, well, if I'm going to use the midpoint as the height, where is the midpoint? So you can find the midpoint of two numbers by adding them and divide by 2. Well, in this case, of course, adding 0 would do nothing. Divide by 2 would make this pi over 20. And then just next to pi, which would be 20 over 20, but 1/20th less than that would be 19 over 20 pi. Okay, so those are the numbers that are going to be substituted into the function to find the heights. We would need to do 10 of those between 1/20th of pi and 19/20ths of pi. So it would be the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, etc. We can also have the calculator do this. The mathematical notation for it would be take the sum, and instead of using y, I'm going to use f of x. So f of x times delta x. And then this x is going to have to start at 1 pi over 20ths, and at 19 pi over 20ths would be the ending, and these would have to be odd numbers. Well, we can also have the calculator do it. You tell it sum, the sequence, tell it what the function is, tell it what the delta x is, so that's finding the height times the base of triangles. Next, comma x, so that's just telling it that x is the variable in this problem, starting at 1 pi over 20 to 19 pi over 20, and then next always goes the delta x, go over by pi tenths each time, because if you have this length right here is pi over 10, then that means the length from this midpoint to the next midpoint is the same length. This length right here would also be pi over 10. So that's what that part's saying. So the sum and the sequence are found under list. So second list, move over to math. Number 5 is the sum. Next, the sequence part. So this actually generates the numbers and then the sum adds them up. So second list, move over to operations. It's also the fifth one, sequence. And then we've got sine of x times pi divided by 10 with respect to x being the variable, starting at 1 pi divided by 20 and going to 19 pi's divided by 20 in increments of pi over 10. 1.959. And then let's see how accurate that is if we go and take a look at the graph of sine of x from 0 to pi. And then go to second calculate. Number 7 finds the area, starting at 0 and going to pi. So the actual answer is 2. And we got 1.959 as our estimate.